We made it. Day two. Day two. Just barely. It's also almost midnight. So, what was I doing? Well, I went to sound healing on the beach and I wasn't facilitating it. I was just enjoying. It's the full moon today. It's the strawberry full moon in June. And yeah, just wanted to enjoy it. It's by, I think, the Miami sound, I might be torturing the orchestra, but it's a sound healing Miami orchestra, I believe. And it was my first time going, so I was excited to check it out. And I wanted to share some things that I took away from it, not necessarily just my experience. It's not necessarily kind of talking about sound healing. It's more so two things that I got out of it, or that I noticed, two themes. Number one is play, which I spoke about yesterday. And number two is fear. So let me move over a little bit to the side here. Or maybe the side. So yeah, play. So I knocked out because I was tired, and it just it was just really meditative when the sounds actually started. And I knocked out, and I woke up towards the end, once it was already dark outside. But I was able to catch the full moon, as it wasn't like totally up in the sky, but it was still coming above, coming up from the horizon. And there was some beautiful colors. I mean, I could see why they call it strawberry moon. There was, I mean, I don't know if there's a correlation there, but the sky was really red and pink and orange, and it's just like fiery. It looked like a strawberry. And I woke up. I instantly wanted to look at the moon. So I was on my back, and then I was just looking at it backwards. I was like, well, this is not comfortable. So I turned around. So now my stomach, I was stomach down, face down. And I just looked at the moon. As it started getting higher, it started getting brighter, it started getting wider. So it started losing some of that like red, orange, yellow tint to it. And I stretched my arm out. By the way, I completely forgot my towel, completely forgot my mat. I just rushed home, and I just changed, and then I went out. So I was literally the only one there. I don't know how many people there were, maybe like 50 people or something, but I was the only one that didn't have a mat or a towel. And no worries, I just took off my shirt and lay on my shirt, and that worked out. But yeah, so as I was laying on my shirt, and I stuck my hand out onto the sand, and because I was just relaxed and I was calm, I just felt so nice. The sand felt really nice, just to play with it. And going back to yesterday's theme about being playful, and like just feeling sand going through your fingers and how that feels. It's relaxing, and you're also touching nature, and there's just so much potent energy just by laying on the sand, being on the beach. Because we're connecting to nature's resonance. So yeah, I got that being playful. And I actually, before I knocked out and before I started playing with the sand, that was something that kind of just was nurturing throughout the session, because we were moving our bodies and we were dancing and we were just, expressing ourselves. And I guess that ties back to, or that takes me into the second theme, which is fear. There's a very close correlation there, because at some point, the facilitator said, hey, let's get wild, and why don't you go and approach somebody. I mean, he was talking to everybody. Why don't you go approach somebody who you don't know and go dance with them? And as a dancer, I'm fairly comfortable doing that, right? Because that's just, what we do, especially as a lead that I am. And but that's also under different circumstances. I do social dancing, Latin dancing, and it's very, very common to go out to a dance social and ask somebody to dance, and they will either say yes or no, and it's very normal interaction. Here, you're just dancing freeform, and I feel like everybody was also just like very kind of timid. They were just staying in their spot, and although there was a lot of people, everyone's kind of just like, just a little bit reserved. And so that made me feel reserved also. It's interesting. We're just, oh, wow. We're just social animals. So I didn't approach. Because I thought maybe I would get, I don't know, I was the odd man standing out. And what if also somebody like, I say, hey, do you want to dance? And then I get rejected for dancing, randomly dancing at a sound. When the facilitator says, hey, go be wild and go dance with somebody you don't know. Like, he literally said that and nobody did it. And I think everybody might have been curious. It's like, yeah, let's be wild, let's do this. But it's like, well, no one else is doing it, so I don't know. So there was a little bit of that intrinsic fear of rejection. And also, when it came to dancing, again, I'm a dancer, but I do a certain kind of dance. And the freeform dancing, I think, to me, when I've done ecstatic dancing, I've also caught myself that I sometimes don't express myself as much because fear of judgment. And what really helps is when I close my eyes. And then I am able to really express myself, and my body's just has no limitations, and I move in ways that is really healthy and healing, I'd say. And it just moves in such a beautiful, it really acts as an instrument when I connect the music to my body and I let go of that fear of judgment. But because everybody had their eyes open, I don't know, I had that. And so yeah, I want to share those two things because it's, I guess it's interesting to have me as a dancer who approaches fellow dancers all the time, who sees absolutely no problem with it, but under a different circumstance, a different situation, I was no longer comfortable approaching. And then same thing as a sound healing facilitator that I am, me taking part in with another group and them kind of giving us directions to do something. It's like, hey, approach somebody. and like move around and feel free, because me as a facilitator, like I love that engagement. I love when people respond to that and they move around and they express themselves. And I wasn't necessarily giving that to the facilitator. And maybe it's because, again, the size of the group, maybe because we weren't quite connected to begin with. Again, because maybe it was the sheer size of the group or whatever the case might be, but it's interesting. It's just interesting how like me having involvement in both these, like both as a dancer, but also in sound healing, how I still get these fears or fear of judgment or fear of rejection, although I've been doing this. So I guess your one's behaviors and actions are influenced by that unique situation. And I feel like if somebody only knows that situation, they might identify themselves as like, I'm not good at this. This is just who I am. I don't approach people. This is who I am. I'm not a good dancer. My body just doesn't express itself. This is who I am. I just can't sing, or I don't like expressing myself via words. This was awkward. I'm not doing this again. Because of that unique situation, but then you change the situation a little bit, and now all of a sudden you're like, I'm a dancer. I approach people without a problem. I'm confident. Oh, I express myself freely. I sing. Oh my gosh. And could you imagine, like, this has such a huge impact on your life? How you interact with others, how you approach situations on a day-to-day. That identity that you have, that belief of who you are. So maybe if you still made it to this 13-minute mark, well, thank you, first of all. Hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts and see if you resonate. See if there's something in your life that perhaps you tell yourself that I'm this or I'm not that. And it's not necessarily because of actually who you are, it's because of that specific circumstance or that situation. But maybe you just change it up a little bit. Your belief in the identity will be different. We're not limited. Day 3 tomorrow.